Good morning, afternoon. Hey, what's up, Lasdrin? Good morning. I am having a great day. Yes, it's off to a good start. We had to take my youngest to get an ultrasound and some lab work done for an upcoming doctor's appointment, and went to Target for a little bit as a reward because he got his blood drawn and didn't freak out. So we went to Target, looked around. Yeah, it's been a productive day. Good start. Ultrasound, everything. Yeah, he's fine. He doesn't have two kidneys. He has a single kidney, so they just have to watch it. Make sure his kidney function is still good, and that his basically because he has one kidney, it should theoretically sort of super compensate in a way for the lack of the other. So they just kind of basically monitor him. I think he only goes like every couple of years now. Yeah, just a crazy genetic mutation, just random thing. We didn't know until he was born, and they checked him out and was like, oh yeah, he only has a single kidney. So kind of crazy. He's a mutant. Testing. Huh. Sorry. I'm sorry. I kind of went I went mute for a second because I was having trouble with my mic. I'm not really sure. Not really sure what the issue was there. Let's see. What are we doing today? We're gonna do some boot.dev stuff. Hello, Cyberlanka. Hope he is safe, healthy. Please don't let him touch. Yeah, hopefully he's not. Hopefully he's not a drinker when he gets older. I mean, when your kid's 18, 21, 19, you know what I mean. Your kid gets to a certain age and they kind of have to make their own choices. But we will definitely counsel him that That should not be something he partakes in regularly or in excess. I'm not a drinker myself. My wife doesn't drink very much either. I've never been a drinker. I've never drank alcohol before. Just never liked the idea of being kind of outside myself. But if that's your thing, that's your thing, you know? I'm not judging. No judgment here. Okay. Boot.dev. Where are we? Boot.dev. Oh, actually, I think we're in the terminal because we're in the middle of building a blog aggregator. Let's see, Control Shift New. We need our Ubuntu tab. Can't tell. All right, real quick, I got to make a small change to my NeoVim configs. Excuse me. So we need to go to LSP. We need to do something for the LSP SQL right here. We need to override the, I think there's an on attach. Yeah, on attach. Is there an on? Maybe on new, on attach? I thought there was an on new config. Vim.lsp on new config. Hey Vignay, how are you? I think I'm saying your name correctly. Love laid back streams. Yes, it is. That's what all my streams are. They're pretty low key. Just a guy in Kansas trying to kill some time. Okay, so let's do this. Command equals a table. I'm just a guy in Biang fighting for the indie game community. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, I've never been a big indie game player myself, but I do appreciate all the work that goes into them. This is going to be dash config. Okay, let's try that. And then we actually need to create. Yes, it's been a while since I attended one of your streams last month. It's good to be here for a bit. Yeah, hang out as long as you want, man. I took about a month off, like towards the end of the spring, beginning of the summer, which was good. It was a lot of fun to just take a break. And then I decided to start up this boot.dev thing. And so I'm currently trying to get to level 100 in boot.dev, which has been a fun project. And then obviously I've been working on my own stuff in my free time. I've kind of shied away from sharing my own personal projects with the internet lately, just with all the AI summer that's going on right now. But I'm sure I'll work the courage up to attack it again. Yeah, local dev. It's good. Lowercase keywords. Yeah, that's fun. Good. I actually am okay with that. Okay, so the whole point of that is now, hopefully, when I open up my SQL, hopefully we'll get some IntelliSense in here. Doesn't look like it. Check health LSP. Aqua Blanco, how are you? I'm inspired by your passion for coding. Well, thank you, dude. I love it. It's sure is a ton of fun, you know. It is a ton of fun. I know not everybody feels that way, and that's okay. Just like not everybody enjoys lifting heavy weights, which I also enjoy. It's totally okay for us to like different things. Also, I've never been on a live stream, but I comment on so many videos. I especially appreciate you when you reply with the voice message. Yeah, the voice message thing is kind of cool. It makes it a lot more convenient sometimes to reply to comments that way. So that's nice. Whenever I'm like away from my desk and I can't reply on my desktop computer, I'll usually use that feature. That's what we need, real programming videos and no AI slop. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who are the right audience for just, you know, doing things with agents, right? Like, I'm sure there's an audience for that. I'm not really in that audience, nor really interested in that kind of content, but, you know, like I said, to each his own. To each his own. Okay, I don't think we're getting... We're definitely getting, no. We're definitely getting some completion, but I don't think we're getting the IntelliSense we want. Well, that sucks. I thought that would fix it. Let's go ahead and make sure we have a .get ignore file. And let's ignore SQL .yaml. I don't think I... let's see. Did I do this right? Yeah, SQL. Pass in the configs. I enabled it here. Huh. Well, I guess I'll stop getting hung up on this because this isn't really the point of the project, but I thought it would be nice to have some IntelliSense when writing these migrations, but we'll just, excuse me, we'll live without it. It's fine. All right, so we need a created at field. This will be a timestamp. Updated. This will also be a timestamp. Not null. Not null. Is that how you do not null constraint? Yeah, not null. It's 2 words. And then we want. Excuse me. Your TUI has been developed so much. Yeah, my term chat's coming along pretty good. And then my Termato. This is my latest TUI that I built. Termato. That's my Pomodoro timer that I've been working on the last week or so. Put a visualizer in it. It does sound notifications, does system notifications. That was a fun one to build. It's always the fun to build little tools like that, you know, for yourself. The term chat one is one that I need to spend more time on. I have a list of bugs right now that I need to address on it, and I just haven't made time to work on it. Let's see. Text, not null. And we also want name to be unique. Came for a haircut? I need to get a haircut. PostgreSQL text field. Okay, I think that covers everything they wanted. So ID is UUID. That's our primary key. We have created at, which is a timestamp. It can't be null. Updated at, which is a timestamp. It can't be null. Name, a unique string that cannot be null. The goose up and goose down comments are case sensitive and required. They tell Goose how to run the migration in each direction. Okay, so trying to go back and look at examples from the SQL course to make sure I typed all this right. Yeah, text is a type. Okay, that's what I was like. I just couldn't remember if this should be varchar or text. Unique, not null. All right, so let's go ahead and try to run this. Hello, Arvin. Gunheis, what is this late stream? I don't know, man. I'm a grown ass man. You know, I got free will. I can stream whenever I want. No, I just didn't wake up early. My son had a doctor's appointment this morning, and I didn't feel like waking up early. We can remove this to do. So I'm here now. Also, thank you for being a member, Gun Highs, as always. Appreciate it. Finally, you found your free will. I mean, I feel like it's been around. Okay, so we got to do PSQL, Postgres. This will be Postgres at localhost 5432 Gator. Oh, whoops. There we go. Let's do did not find any relations. Okay, so there's no tables there. So now what we'll do is we'll run okay. So let's exit. Now we're gonna run the same command but with Goose. So we're gonna say Goose Postgres, our connection string. Whoops. Postgres at localhost 5432 Gator. Up. Goose run. No migration files found. What? Oh, we got to be in the. Goose successfully migrated database to version 1. Okay. So now let's do that command again. Looky there. And this is how Goose, obviously, any tool that supports migrations, right? It's always going to have its own set of tables. Entity Framework does the same thing. So that's nice. Pretty handy. And then let's do DT users. We can see we have our text. Not null. We have our unique constraint on the name. We have a primary key on the ID field. So looks like everything went well with that migration. And we can move on. So git add, git commit, add users table migration. I love pretending I don't know what I'm doing. Most of the time I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm pretty good at figuring out what I should do. That's kind of my meta skill. Yes, thank you for being a streamer like always. Well, that's very kind of you. I don't know if I'd ever claim the title as of a streamer, you know? I mean, I guess I do stream, so technically I can call myself a streamer, but I feel like I pale in comparison to people like Tim the Tapman and Nick Merckx and all those guys that they really do it, you know? They're like on a whole different level. Add the connection string to go. We gotta do .config Gator. Gator. We have to add our connection string. What's up, Aeronaut? How are you? Good to see you. Victor, what's up? Hey, you got your tablet. Let's go, man. You need to put some pictures of it in the Discord. I love getting new tech, man. I love it. It's the best. Hey, Kyler. What's up, White? Thanks for being a member, man. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right. This should be Postgres at localhost 5432 Gator SSL mode equals disable. Just got back from St. Louis. Nice. Was interesting to see the arch. Yeah, the arch is pretty cool. I've been in the arch. I was pretty little when I went. I was probably in elementary school or middle school the last time I was at the arch. But it is pretty cool. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed St. Louis. St. Louis is a good place. All right, now we need to submit our checks. We did it. All right, now it looks like we're going to use an ORM. It's called SQL C or Squeal C. Let's see, it's an amazing Go program that generates Go code from SQL queries. It's not exactly an ORM. Oh, it's not exactly an ORM. Rather, a tool that makes working with raw SQL easy and type safe. We will use Goose to manage our database migrations and SQL C to generate Go code that our application can use to interact with the database. Install SQL C is just a command line tool. It's not a package that we need to import. I recommend installing it using Go install. Okay. And then we have to configure it, it looks like. You're telling SQL C to look in the SQL schema directory for our schema structure. We're also telling it to generate Go code in the internal database directory. Write a query to select a user inside the SQL queries directory. Create a file called users.sql. Here's the format. The one at the end of the query tells SQL C that we expect to get back a single row, which we do get back because we added returning star. Oh, and this is super interesting. So you're writing raw SQL and then you add some comments and all this gets parsed to generate Go code. Huh. I don't think I've ever used a tool like this to interact with my database before. It's pretty interesting. Getting to try something new. I like it. And then we have to configure it. We have to wait for it to install. Always waiting for installations. Did you set up your Astrobot, Kyler? Nice. takes a long time to install. You can do it. You can do it, little WSL, too. Come on. Finish. There we go. I knew you had it in you. So this one's going to be called SQL-C.YAML. Put this off to the side. SQL-C. I'm guessing, I'm just going to do it exactly like it said, but I'm guessing it doesn't really matter if you use YAML or YML for the file extension, but better safe than sorry. Okay, so we need to write our query. So we'll say queries, and this will be users.sql. Okay, so we got name. This is called create user. We expect to get 1 back. And then we are going to write this query. Insert into users. ID. Oh, I guess we are getting IntelliSense. So that the thing I set up does work. Because this was not happening before, but now it knows about the table that's in our database. Nice. Okay, that does work. Values. Let's see. $1. That's a placeholder. $2 placeholder. $3. $4. And then we're going to return. That must be a special word. Returning. Okay. Now we have to run something to generate the code. It says generate the Go code. Run SQL-C generate. So SQL-C generate. From the root of your project, it should create a new package of Go code in the internal database directory. So let's do internal. Yep, it did. You'll notice that the generated code relies on Google's UUID package, so you'll need to add that to your module. What are you talking about? Oh, yep, I do see that. Okay, so we'll do go get github.com Google/UUID. Malformed module path, missing dot in the first path element. Oh, yep. I see what you're talking about. Yes, lurk away. Feel free to lurk. We're just having ourselves a chill late morning, early afternoon stream, so please feel free to come and go. Obviously, if you want to chat, I'm happy to chat, but no need to. You can just chill here. I can turn the music up if you want me to turn the music up. Okay, now we're going to write another query. I'm actually going to split my terminal again. Control Shift, Control or Alt Shift plus. There you go. Oh, interesting. It doesn't use... That's weird. I would have expected it to use the Ubuntu. Maybe Alt-Shift-2? Split pane. Right? There we go. Screw it up. That way I can move between the terminal and NeoVim without always closing and opening. Gets a little annoying. Alright, we're gonna add another query here. He lurked like Bob Knoll did? Yeah, lurk away, man. Lurk away. I'm sure Bob's still out there in the world somewhere. Okay. And then let me guess. We're gonna write another query to get a user by name. I use the comment to tell SQL that I expect to get back a single row. Again, generate the Go code to ensure that it works. So we need to do a returning, I'm guessing, this. And then we need to do select star, or I guess select ID, created at, updated at, and name from users. By name. Okay, so we'll say from users where name equals some sort of placeholder, maybe? I'm not sure if it needs to be in quotes or not. I'll just do it like this. See what happens. So we're going to select their ID, created at, updated at, name from the users table where name equals whatever the placeholder is, and then we'll return it. So let's see what code this generates. SQL C, generate. Oh, we're not in the right directory. SQL C, generate. Syntax error. Near or at returning. So maybe this does need to be in quotes. Like that. Still having a SQL error. Returning. Do you think the returning isn't valid? Let's see. Name created at, updated at. I guess let's try this. Okay, that seems, so maybe returning doesn't work? So what does returning mean? Hey, what's up, Duck Boy? I was opening YouTube to watch some game streams, but then I'm here. Hey, if you want to be here, that's great, but I will not hold it against you if you want to watch people play video games on stream. My sons tell me that if I really wanted to have a successful YouTube channel, I would play video games on my YouTube channel, not coding and programming stuff. So. Oh, so returning only works after insert, update, and delete. Yeah, good to know. So let's look at the code it generated. So here's our create user. And here's our get user. Okay. I think it's kind of cool that you can see kind of how the SQL maps directly onto Like, this is exactly what I wrote. You know, there's nothing really crazy going on here. Cool. We need to add and import a Postgres driver so our program knows how to talk to the database. Install it in your module. Add this import to the top of your main.go file. Okay. So this is our driver. I'm guessing PQ stands for something. Postgres or something. And then we have to go back to our main. And we have to add... import underscore github.com/lib PQ. Okay. Says this is one of my least favorite things working with SQL and Go currently. You have to import the driver, but you don't use it directly anywhere in your code. The underscore tells Go that you're importing it for its side effects, not because you need to use it. Wonderful. Let's see. Open a connection to the database, store it in the state struct in main, load in your database URL to the config struct. Okay, we'll do that next. We'll take a break and then we'll do that next. What'd you say you'd be into? How about a mix of both? Oh, we can surely. Yeah, for sure we can. If you guys would be interested in doing some gaming on stream, I'd be happy to do it. Yeah, I like to game. Is there a command to summon yourself from the shadow? There is not, but we can add it. We can definitely add it. Gaming streams are not as fun as coding. It would be fun if we mix the two worlds. I don't have a lot of interest in building games myself, but it might be interesting to spend some time learning how to. You know, like when I think of like what game would I build? Blank slate. Like I have no idea what I would build. I'm just not super creative in that way. Like my brain is always like, what about this? And then whenever I think about that, I'm like, yeah, but that's already been kind of done and that kind of already exists and who would care about that, you know? Love how Steven mixed our comments, the Reddit in wrong direction. I did read it in the wrong direction. But that's because it kind of comes in top down for me. Programming a mod for Minecraft while gaming it at the same time. I think that would be fun. Yeah. I don't know what mod I would make though. What mods do people make for Minecraft? See, this is where the lack of creativity shows itself, because I'm like, okay, let's make a mod for Minecraft, and then I'm like, well, what mod would you make? I don't know. Neovim in Minecraft? Oh my gosh, dude. Now we're just taking the level of meta to a whole new level. That's so funny. I forgot to activate my potions. I'm gonna lift my kettlebell real quick. Ooh. Excuse me. Whew. Big old yawn. I've seen one create a RAM memory in Minecraft with redstone. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know what I would do with it. You see this guy? This is he's a former OpenAI, I think, employee. I guess his hedge fund collapsed. All right, back to it. No, that's a stupid idea. Involving Java on this channel is forbidden. I would like to learn Java at some point. I feel like, given how much I like coffee, I kind of feel like I have a duty to learn it. Okay, so at this point we have our config. So let's create our DB here. SQL.open Postgres. And then we will take our config dot oh my goodness, I don't know why my keyboard does this. So SQL declared and not used, undefined. So can I just import it like this? No? Huh. I wonder if it'll work after it compiles or something. Okay, use your generated database package to create a new database queries and store it in your state struct. Okay, so if error is not equal nil, then we will do format print f error connecting to database. And we will just exit here, or we can exit here, or we can exit down here. Okay. If we do have a database, then we need to do DB queries. And that's going to equal to db.new. Oh no, database.new db. Bro is streaming so late, you're going to be left behind the early birds? Yeah, I just, didn't get up early this morning. And then now we need to extend where do we new up our state? We need to extend our state struct here. So let's move that up to there. Oh no, we have to do this first. Okay. So this is going to take our DB, our config, and our args. So let's go here and let's do database is database.queries. And then we're going to also extend this guy, database.queries. Oh, whoops, I accidentally deleted the, so we'll do database. Ah! I think everyone's happy now. That's good. All right, now we need to create a register handler and register it with the commands. It should ensure that a new name was passed in the args, create a new user in the database. It should have access to the create user query through the state DB struct, pass context.background to the query to create an empty context argument, use the uuid.new function to generate a new uuid for the user, exit with the code 1 if a user with that name already exists, set the current user in the config to the given name, print a message that the user was created, and log the user's data to the console for your own debugging. And then it says update the login command handler to error and exit with code 1 if the given username doesn't exist in the database. You can't log into an account that doesn't exist. Be sure to migrate down and back up with Goose before each run/submit because the tests assume a clean database. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. So basically what it's asking us to do is it's asking us to go to our commands here. And I'm going to make a new command called register command. Now, register command does not exist yet. But it is going to, and it's going to return a new command who has name register. Oops. Excuse me. We'll just return nil for now. Hey, what's up? I'm doing well, X1 Zool. How are you? How's life? Hope you're having a good day so far. I need to go to the restroom. You're doing good? Good. That's all we can ask for, you know? I'm not really going to get coffee, but I just have to use the restroom. I'll be right back. We're back. We are back. All right, first and foremost, if the length of s.arguments equals 0, we need to return an error that says, hey, yo, bro, you didn't give me the shit I need. Did not receive expected username argument. And then we need to create a new user in the database. It should have access to the create user query. So I'm guessing we don't need to check if the name already exists, or the reason why we're not checking if the name already exists. I know this is probably a debate, but the unique constraint is being enforced at the database level, right? So that's kind of why we don't have to check for it. I don't know. I'd probably still check for it myself in the application code, but I guess somebody's going to say that's a waste because you've already applied the unique constraint. Yeah, over here. That's fine. We can live with that. So we'll do, this will be, I'm guessing this hands back the created user and an error. So created user. That's a waste. Yeah, that's I'm gonna guess what people would say. It's just one of those things that, like, it's one of those things that when I think about that, I think, is that business logic living in the database? Right? Which is something, I know there's heretical sides to that argument, but like, is it a technical constraint that you can't have two users with more than one username? Because you have a primary key, right? So the fact that you're declaring that every username must be unique is not really a technical constraint. It's more of a, this is something that we've decided as a business. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I think that should probably be expressed in the code, but that's just me. I have a primarily stream. What? What? Okay, what does this take? This takes our args and our context. So context is going to be context.background. And then let's do create user params equals create user. What is the type? Create user params. Okay, so there we go. So what are we talking about here? We have an ID, which is going to be UUID dot new. Created at, guessing there's a time dot now. And this will be an updated at. And then the name will be s.arguments at position 0. Okay. And if there's an error, well, we encountered an issue, so we'll just return that. We will return that error. Otherwise, we're going to print the information. It says exit with a code 1 if a user with that name already exists. So the question is, do they expect us to check for that? I'm guessing this is going to return an error in that case. Which means, I guess, back up here in our main.go, based on how we've authored everything, this actually needs to exit with 1 based on what they asked for. So let's just set all these to 1 for now. Now what we need to do is we need to say state.config.setUser, which is going to be our created user.name. Excuse me. Now, again, remember this has an IO in it, so it actually does save the config. So we don't have to do any kind of explicit calls. Then print a message that the user was created and log the user's data to the console for your own debugging. Okay, let's look at the test real quick to see if they expect. Okay. So what we'll do is we will say format.println successfully registered user with following details. Let's create a user dot name. Change it to printf. This should be %s, and then we're gonna say let's print the 1, 2, and let's print ID equals what? %s, I'm assuming. And then this will be created at, and this will be updated at. Honestly, I don't know what the convention of error codes is. So I think the main convention with error codes, in my opinion, is just to be able to know why a program executed, right? So 0 means the program ran as intended successfully. Non-zero means a error state, right? But ideally, you would like specific error codes for errors so that you can work backward to figure out like what is the error state of the program. So to me, it doesn't make sense to have the same exit code in multiple places unless that exit code does represent, or unless in both those places it represents the same failed state. So like historically in programs that I've written, I've always had like an enum or a static class with a bunch of constants in it that I use for defining exit codes. That's my personal opinion of what the convention should be, because otherwise, if every failure state has the same exit code, the exit codes aren't really useful. Like, they're not helpful, right? You can't use them to check for things. If you're running a program on the command line and you're chaining calls together, you can't check for particular exit codes to determine if particular things did or didn't happen. That's just my opinion. Okay, so let's go ahead and now run this. So we'll do go run dot register. Let's register me. Successfully registered Steven. There's my ID. There's my created at. There's my updated at. I am going to make this print a little nicer. Let's do this. Let's remove the hyphens. And let's make them, all these arrows appear in the same space. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll say PSQL, connect to our database. Oh, we're already connected. We'll just select star from users. And there we are. How do you turn off that? Let's see. PSQL, turn off. What do you call that? Turn off. I'm just gonna say turn off WQ experience. Pager, that's the name. Turn off the pager. How do I turn off the pager? PSQL, turn off pager. You can use the command p set pager off, or you can run PSQL to disable it for a specific command. No, I want to disable it permanently. I guess this only does it for the current session. It's fine. P set pager off. There we go. All right, so it looks like everything worked correctly there. So let's go ahead and exit. I vouch for RFC on exit codes. I bet there is. You know what I mean? I bet somewhere out there is one. Seems like there's an RFC about everything. Now, we actually have to run goose, and we actually have to run down. Oh, we got to be in SQL schema. Down, and then we have to run goose up. And then let's go back to main. And we are going to submit. Let's see if we get a pass. Ah, damn it. So the last one says running go.login unknown. Oh, I didn't update my login command. Damn it. They told me explicitly to do that. So after we get the username, we need to check that they exist. So existing user equals s.database.getUser. And we're going to pass in the context. Oh, you know what? It didn't. It didn't recognize this. Oh, because I put it in quotes. Whoopsies. We gotta regenerate our stuff. I bet I just have to do it like this. So let's do SQL C generate. Now let's look at get user. Yeah, now it takes a name parameter. So now we need to go back here and say username. Now, if there was an error, if error nil, let's just return that. Let's just return that. If existing user does not equal nil, then we also have to return an error that says user with name does not exist. Probably actually shouldn't indicate that. We probably should just be like incorrect or failed login attempt or something, right? Because you could use this to you could use that feedback to enumerate what names are actually in the database. What do they want us to return in that case? They want us to return let's just do this. Let's do if error does not equal nil or existing user does not equal nil. Oh, or actually this should be equals nil. What? So I guess the expectation is that this is an error if it fails to return a user. How else would I check to see that there's not a user there? So it must hand back an error if it can't find it. I also don't know. Hey, Wagatha, how's it going? Are they still doing weird design choices on the blog aggregator? There was some weird choices, but I corrected those, and I just made them the choices I would make. So that's fun. Yeah, I don't know what this gives back. Scans copies of the rows. If more than one matches the query, scan uses the first row, discards the rest. If no row matches the query, scan returns error, no rows. Okay, so yeah, so it will return an error if the user is not there. So if error does not equal nil, we will return error. That. So let's do go run .login unknown. Error running login command SQL, no rows in result set. That's probably a bad error to expose to the end user. So let's just do failed to login. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now we should be able to pass our submission now. Oh, I didn't do... that's so annoying. We have to goose down, and then we have to goose up, because it expects a clean database every time. So now let's rerun. What the fuck? Now we're failing. Failed step 2. Go register. Ah, I gotta run it from the root, don't I? Okay, this is gonna drive me mad. I should write a script to do this. Go down. Go up. Okay, then go back to the root. Now run the submission. Success! For some reason, my Blender is acting up. By Blender, I mean software. Yeah, I guess you do kind of have to explicitly state that. Most people probably would not think about the software when you say Blender. Dude, I have this, I have some resource in my AWS account that I cannot figure out what is generating the cost. I need to spend some time looking into that. It's not a lot of money, it's like 2 cents, but it's kind of annoying for it to show up every month. Okay. Here we go on to the next one. Okay. When doing end-to-end testing on a system like this, it's always a bit annoying to have to manually reset the state of the database. For example, the register command fails if you run it again with the same username because the user already exists. That's the behavior we want, but we have to manually reset the database each time we run tests. Yes, I just tripped over that. Let's add a command to our CLI that will reset the database to a blank state. This will make development much easier for us. Add a new query to the database that deletes all the users in the users table. Generate the Go code with SQL C. Use the exe tag in the comment. Add a new command called reset that calls the query. Report back to the user about whether or not it was successful with an appropriate exit code. Okay. So what's the query we need to write for this? We don't want to drop it. We just want to delete it. We just want to delete them. So let's do name, delete users, delete all users. So this will be delete, delete from users. And then is that it? Do I have to, if I want to delete all of them, do I need a where clause? Or do I need like a where 1 equals 1 type of clause? Where 1 equals 1 type of thing? Delete all users from SQL table. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, okay. That's right. It took forever for that page to load over here. Okay. So that's that. And then we need to generate it. So let's do SQL C, generate. That should give us a new delete all users. Yep, that's what we want. Then we'll go to commands. Let's make a new function here called func reset command. Return new command. It will be called reset. It will have a handler that does some very simple stuff. So we'll say air equals s dot database dot delete all users. We'll pass in the background context. If there was an error, we'll just propagate that up. And otherwise, I'll print a message that says successfully deleted all users. That. Now the question is, it would be kind of cool to know how many we deleted, wouldn't it? But I guess we're not worried about that. So go to reset command. So now what we'll do is we'll go run dot reset. Okay, go run register. Steven. Okay. Then we do go run login Steven. Okay, now go run dot reset. Go run dot login Steven again. Error login failed to login. So it is doing what we think it's doing. I think we're safe to submit our checks. Awesome. We need a users command that lists all the users and indicates which one is currently logged in. Add a get users query that returns all the users from the database. Generate the Go code with SQL C generate. Use the mini tag in the comment. Add a new command called users that calls get users and prints all the users to the console. Okay. Okay. This is actually kind of a pleasant way to interact with the database, actually. I mean, I know we're having to write SQL ourselves, but as someone who doesn't get to do that a lot, it's actually kind of nice. Get all users. Many. We'll say select. We'll do the same thing up here. Like that. equals C, generate. And what's our command going to be named users? Function users command returns a command object. It's going to be a new command. It's going to be called users. It's going to have some of that on it. Let's see, error. I don't see with TX. What's that? There we go. Context.background. If error does not equal nil, again, we'll propagate that up. Otherwise, we'll print. So we'll say for user range over users. I think this is a list. Yeah, or slice. We just want to print them all. So we do format dot print f star %s. We pass in user dot name like that. Now it does want me to add something if it wants me to add something to that if it's the current user. So let's define message to be this. Pass message in here. And then if user.name equals c dot or s dot config dot current username, then message will get some extra text on it, which will be just current, like that. I think that'll work. So let's add some users. So then we go run.users. Oh, we forgot the new line. Why does it say Albus? Shouldn't say Albus. Oh, because that was the last one registered. So yeah, it will. I'm actually going to update the message for register then to be a little bit more clear of what that's doing. Say successfully registered user. And then I'm also going to say current user set to. Like that. Because I found that a little confusing. So let's do go run login as Steven, and then go run .users. That's what they want. That's what they want. I do wish it was printed in alphabetical order, so I'm actually going to sort my slice. So let's do sort dot slice users. And then we have to pass in the function, right? So this would be ij. And I think I can just do I minus j. I want to sort a slice alphabetically. Go sort slice alphabetic. We need to give it a sort func. So we need to say not sort, but we need to say slices dot sort func. And we give it our users and our func, which is going to be AB user, database user. And then we'll return dot compare. What do we want to compare? We want to compare a.name and b.name. So now I'm hoping when we run this again, Albus should be at the top. Yep, that's what I want. That's what I want. I wonder if maybe the current should go to the top and the rest are alphabetical. Maybe that's what makes more sense. Nah, that's fine. We'll leave it for now. That adds complexity we don't need to worry about. Let's check. Success. All right, now we're going to get to the RSS feed of this whole thing. Oh, I never started my timer again. I'm so bad about that. I'm so bad about remembering to use the timer. Okay, the whole point of the Gator program is to fetch the RSS feed of a website and store its content in a structured format in our database. That way we can display it nicely in our CLI. RSS stands for really simple syndication and is a way to get the latest content from a website in a structured format. It's fairly ubiquitous on the web. Most content sites have an RSS feed. RSS is a specific structure of XML. I know, gross. We will keep it simple and only worry about a few fields. Here's an example of the documents we will parse. Okay. We will then directly unmarshal this kind of document into structs. This is what, in case you guys are wondering what I'm reading or what it looks like. So basically, here's an example of the RSS feed. Here's an example of the structs. If there are any extra fields in the XML, the parser will just discard them. If any are missing, the parser will leave them as their zero value. Write a function called fetch feed. It should fetch a feed from the given URL, assuming that nothing goes wrong. Return a filled out RSS feed struct. Here are some useful docs. Be sure to check the overviews for examples if the entry lacks any. I set the user agent header to Gator in the request. This is common practice to identify your program to the server. Use the HTML.unescaped string function to decode escaped HTML entities. You'll need to run the title and description fields through this function. Add an ag command. Later, this will be our long-running aggregator service. For now, we'll use it just to fetch a single feed and ensure our parsing works. It should fetch the feed found at this URL and print the entire struct to the console. All right, so we should probably make a new package. Call it XML retriever or RSS retriever or something like that. No, we'll just call it RSS. So then we can do, that way we can call it like RSS dot fetch feed. So let's do that. Let's come in here and say RSS. And let's add an RSS.go. And then we do package RSS, and then we'll add our stuff. Interesting stuff indeed. Not really watching because working on game. We'll send 3D model pick in Discord right quick. Yeah, go ahead and send it. Yeah, no worries. You don't have to watch, man. Yeah, we're just hanging out, listening to some music, co-working. I think streams are often good for, especially programming and coding streams. They're pretty good for co-working stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and stub out the types. They wrote some of them for us, but we'll just type them. We need the practice. So RSS feed has a field called channel. This will be title, string, XML, title, link, string, XML, link, description. Uh-oh, Twitch just disconnected. That hasn't happened in a while. Huh. Wonder how you get it back. I just restarted the... Did mine? I don't think mine disconnected. Good afternoon, chat. Oh, that's interesting. Well, my Twitch term chat did not disconnect, but StreamerBot's chat disconnected. Description, XML. This is going to be description. Item. This is going to be a type we do not have yet. Okay. This is going to have mostly the same information. The only difference is instead of item, we're going to have pub date, which is a string, XML, pub date. Excuse me. So let's make a public function. We'll call it fetch feed. We will take in a context object. We'll take in the feed URL, which is a string. It's going to return a pointer to an RSS feed and an error if anything goes wrong. For now, we will just return RSS feed, which doesn't exist, and error. And then up here, we will declare a new RSS feed of type RSS feed. This needs a pointer, so we'll return that. This needs to be nil. So that's our happy path. Now we need to create a new request with context. So we'll say request equals http.new request with context. That way we can pass through our reader. So this would be context. This would be feed URL, and this is nil, I think. Declare not used rec, assignment mismatch, not enough arguments in call to new request, have, want. Okay, so what is it? It takes the method too. So method is http.get method. And you're still mad because I don't have the error declared. If there's an error, we'll propagate that back. This. Now, if we do get the request, we can assume it's in the correct shape. I wonder if this has any strongly typed enums for header. Doesn't, so we'll just do user agent is Gator. So we'll have our res and we'll have an error, and we'll just use http.defaults.do, pass in our rec. If error does not equal nil, return nil error. Otherwise, we will unmarshal this. So we'll say XML dot unmarshal res.body and a reference to our RSS feed. Now res.body is going to complain. Cannot use res.body because we need to get the bytes. So we could do, does XML have a decoder? XML dot new decoder. We could actually do that. We could actually do this at res.body.decode RSS feed. Depends on, I guess, on how you want to do it. You could do an io.readAll and then pass the bytes to unmarshal, but I'll just do this. So decode returns an error. if air does not equal okay, otherwise we should have an RSS feed at this point. I think so. It says use the HTML unescaped string function to decode escaped HTML entities. You'll need to run the title and description fields of both the entire. So you'll need to run the title and description fields of both the entire channel as well as the items through this function. So we need to do HTML.unescape a string. So this would be RSS feed dot channel dot title. But we have to reassign it to, so we have to say RSS feed dot channel dot title. As well as the description. I don't think there's a cleaner way of doing this. If you see one, let me know. But I think this is what it is. So item in range over RSS feed dot channel dot item. This actually should be items. Items. See Our Studios. Have a good night, man. Sleep well. Thanks for hanging out. Spending your last little bit of your day here. Appreciate you. Oh no, this is item. That's confusing. That's confusing. Yeah, I think that's confusing. But whatever. So you'll do item dot title. Item dot description. That. Okay. Now we need to add a command to use this. So we'll go to commands. We will do function ag command. Returns a new command struct, a pointer to a new command struct, return new command. This will have the name ag of a function. If the length of our state's arguments, state's arguments is equal to 0, we have a problem. Turn how did I format that error? Did not receive expected username argument. So we'll say did not receive expected feed argument. Otherwise, we should probably also check that it's a valid URL. So let's do valid URL error. Push URL.parse s.arguments 0. If error not equal nil, then return format dot error feed not a valid URL. %s. Let's extract that to a commonplace URL equals s dot. Oh, that's gonna screw up. So let's just say u feed. How about that? Feed equals feed, like this. And then if it is a valid URL, then we will say it should fetch the feed found out and print the entire struct to the console. So we will say RSS. Oh, nice. Break time. Yusuf, hey man, I just received my salary of 1.5 euro as junior dev, second year student working in big bank of my country. What can I do with the money when I don't have much spendings? Yusuf, if you want to know how I invest my money, obviously I'm in the US, so maybe it's a little bit different where you are. I'm not sure how accessible some of the things are where you are compared to where I'm at. But if you want to know how I spend my money, or how I deal with my money, is I spend less than I make, and then the difference, as much of that difference as I can, I invest it in broad-based index funds. So if you get the book The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, that's basically what I do with my money. I just follow his advice. Simple path to wealth. I don't try to do anything fancy or complicated. I just buy broad-based index funds. This is the book, Simple Path to Wealth. It's very good. Now, I mean, obviously, if you have savings goals and stuff for yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what I would do. The more money you can get working for you, the better, right? The super wealthy in the world do not earn a living by working. They earn a living by owning things that produce a return. But congratulations on getting your job. I'm sure working at a big bank's kind of cool. I bet there's some people at the bank that can hook you up with some solid financial advice too. Although you got to be kind of careful. Banks tend to be sometimes a little predatory. I feel like as a young 19 kid, that many is too much for me when I have 400 euro, including rent and everything spending. So good investment is really key to success. Yeah, 100%. There's this. And the earlier you start, the better, Yusuf. You said you're 19. At your age, you're what the money guy calls a billionaire of time. You're a billionaire of time, literally. And so at your age, if you started today investing, it's not even that much money, right? If you could stick as much of that extra as you could into a broad-based index fund, you'd be set. They have a really interesting resource called, what is it? It's called your wealth multiplier. Yeah, wealth multiplier. So this basically tells you how much every dollar you invest is worth when you turn 65. So if you're 19 now, let's assume you have $0 invested. Just stick my email in here. So you have a $97 wealth multiplier, which means, according to some rough math that they're doing, if you stuck $86, which I don't know what that translates to euros, but if you stuck $86 per month in a broad-based S&P index fund, that's how much you'd have to invest every month to reach $1 million by the time you're 65. If you wanted $2 million by the time you're 65, you could just stick $173 in there, right? So you can see how it doesn't take much now at your age to invest for your future. And the more aggressive you are, the more money you have to invest, the earlier, the sooner you'll reach the ability to retire. So that's what I would do, man. I would try to take as much of that money as you can and stick it into some VTI or VTSAX or just an S&P 500 index fund and let it ride. I could put like $700 a month, to be honest. I mean, if you have things that you want to save for, like a car or a house, or like, I get it. Like, but man, if it was me, if I could go back and talk to my 19-year-old or 18-year-old self, I would have been like, hey, dude, start buying index funds now. Shovel as much money as you can in there now. I mean, that just goes to show. So you can invest almost 3 times or 4 times what it would take if you started at your age to get to $2 million at 65, right? So you could probably be somewhat financially independent by the time you're in your 40s or sooner, right? Because you got to assume you're going to make more money too, Yusuf. Like you're going to be a ambitious, productive individual, right? So you're going to make more money as you get older and you advance in your career, which is going to give you even more leverage to build your wealth. So you're in a good spot, dude. I'm jealous of you. I wish I could go back to being 19 and have $700 a month extra to invest. You're in a great situation. And I would love to see you in 20 years again and hear about all the money you've stocked away and stacked up for yourself. All right, so we're going to do RSS feed is equal to RSS.fetch feed. Now you take a context object, which we're going to pass background and the feed. And what else? I think that's it. Oh, it returns an error. So assuming this, we'll say error does not equal nil. And we'll just propagate that error back for now. And this actually should be the valid URL. And then we have to print it. So it said print it. So I'll just do print F. We'll do %v, a new line, and we'll just pass the RSS feed. All right, let's see what happens. This is the feed it wants us to grab. Just gonna copy that. Go run dot ag URL. Let's see, ag command. No, oh. Yep, I did not register it. Well, that can't be right. It's just empty. Let's see if my blog XML works. So I think if you go to blog.stephenfreeborn.com/RSS, I think that's blog.stephenfreeborn.com/RSS. Yeah. So this is my RSS feed. So what have we done wrong? Something's failing with the decoding. So I know I need to close the body, so defer, I didn't do that, res.body.close. That's not it, is it? Nope, that's not it. We are passing in the RSS feed pointer. Passing the feed URL. I guess let's just see if we can get the, let's change this a little bit. Let's do data equals io.readAll. We'll pass in res.body. And then instead of doing that, let's switch over to the unmarshaller. Unmarshal. This is our data. Now the main reason I'm doing this is so that I can do this, so I can say format.print, and we'll do response text, and we will pass a string around data. That way we can see if we're actually getting back what we expect. So we are getting text, so that's good, right? So the question is, why are things not Huh. I don't see anything crazy that stands out. Do you guys see anything that stands out? XML.onMarshal, we pass the data, we pass a reference to the RSS feed. We have all the XML tags specified. Yeah, I don't see it. Do you think I have to... I don't know why I would have to do that. No, that's not it. Okay, let's make sure in my command I'm printing the right thing. Yeah. Looks like I am. Ah. They do say I should read this. New request with context. I wonder if I have to tell it. Do you think I have to tell it that it's receiving XML or something? Hey, Vinya. What is happening now? Basically, I'm fetching an RSS feed, right? So, just to kind of show, I guess, what's going on, is I have this command. This command fetches an RSS feed, and in this fetch function, I am making a request. I am setting some headers. Or I guess I'm creating a request, setting some headers. Then I'm actually performing the request. And for whatever reason, I can see I'm getting the right data back. But when I unmarshal that data to a destination, it's not, it isn't being populated with anything. So you can kind of see when I run this, you'll see there's the XML text, but then it's kind of hard to see, but this is not populated with anything. That's my actual Go struct, and it doesn't have anything in it. So I've done something wrong. Let's see. Go unmarshaling XML not working. There's a lot of Stack Overflow posts. Okay. It says remove the inner XML tag on document type and give it the name of the element to match. RSS feed, is it correct? Yes, I think so. I think it is. Oh, I know what it is. Yeah, it's not correct. You're right, Vinay. It's not correct. That is the problem. This channel property needs an XML directive. Thank you, good sir. Now we can get rid of that print statement. Yay, there we go. You rock, man. Great call. I'm actually going to stick this back to the way I had it then. I kind of like the way it was before. I'm going to go back to XML.new decoder res.body get.decode. Kind of like it that way. We don't need, I think that gets rid of everything. Yeah, let's try it again. So there's lanes index. Okay, let's try it with mine. There's mine. Awesome, 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 awesome. So now let's run our checks. That's sneaky. That almost makes me want to do this, honestly. If I'm being completely honest, it makes me want to do this and not have the nested struct, because that was really easy to overlook. Type RSS channel. Yeah, I like that better. I think if I had originally written it like that, I wouldn't have made that mistake and been so lost for so long. What? Am I not supposed to hard code? Oh, I'm not. I'm supposed to hard code the feed. It would help if I would read instructions. Yeah, decoupling, great. I'm learning with you, mate. Oh, nice, cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, good find on that. That was that. If you hadn't have said that, I probably would have kept staring at my code for another 30 minutes before I'd realized it. It doesn't want us to do any of this. It just wants us to pass that straight through. So let's just do this. What the hell? There we go. Good thing I have armor. How much armor do I have? I have 8 left. I'm probably good. Alright, so now that we've got the feed being fetched, we can actually store this in our database. So we're going to create a feeds table. Like any table in our DB, we'll need the standard ID, created at, updated fields. We'll also need a few more: name, URL, and user ID. Make the URL field unique so that in the future we aren't downloading duplicate posts. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a new schema. We'll call this feeds.sql. And we'll just make sure we copy this so we don't screw anything up with the comments. So we have goose up, goose down. This will be drop table feeds. This will be create table feeds. I don't think that needs to be unique. However, the URL does. And then it also wants us to do user ID. Now, user ID should be a foreign key. So we should do foreign key is going to be user ID, and it references users ID. We don't have our user ID yet. This will be user ID, UUID. And that can be not null. It says use on delete cascade constraint on the user ID foreign key so that if a user is deleted, all their feeds are automatically deleted as well. This will ensure we have no orphaned records. Okay. So how do I do an on delete cascade? Put that here. On delete cascade. Maybe I should move the... I'm gonna move this down. Okay. Let's go ahead and do go or goose. Oh. Okay, hold on. I hate having to switch into that directory. Goose has to have a command to set the directory, right? Goose -- help. Come on. You can't tell me this thing doesn't. Directory with the migration files, yeah. -dir. So goose. Postgres, and then we'll set dir equals SQL/schema. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, schema. All right, we successfully migrated, added our feeds. Okay. So now it wants us to write a new SQL query. We'll do feeds.sql. And let's see, users. Let's just copy the create command. But instead of create users, this will be create feed. All right, so this has ID, it has created it, has updated that. It also has name, it has URL, it has user ID. All right, those are the values. ID, created that, updated that, name, URL, user ID. Which means we need an additional placeholder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 2 additional placeholders. That's 5. That's 6. And then we're going to generate those. So this will be SQL C generate. Syntax error. Yep, we do have a syntax error. Keep forgetting, I added some NeoVim navigation between my Windows panes. I keep forgetting to use them. I added it so that basically Alt and then the Vim motions allows me to move panes in the same way I can move in NeoVim. But I keep forgetting to use them. I need to just put my mouse up so I stop reaching for it. column URL does not exist. So what did I call it? Time for a break. Okay, so what the heck happened then? DT, show me DT feeds. PG. Is there like a clear command? SQL. Tmux is great. Try some. Ah, man, I really like the Windows Terminal app. I'm not on. I don't typically work on a Linux machine, but I hear there's a PS Mux. I hear there's a Tmux like for PowerShell, but I really like Windows Terminal. The panes in Windows Terminal work just fine for me. But everybody seems to really like Tmux. Okay, so you do escape. Huh. It does not seem to work. Control L. There we go. Control L works. Okay, so DT feeds. I'm on Fedora. Nice, nice. Yes, Linux user over there. There's a lot of Linux users these days. So why is it saying URL doesn't exist? Because it clearly does exist. Oh. I knew that. I knew that the whole time. I was just testing, chat. I was just testing you. Just testing if anybody else would catch it. Okay, SQL C generate. Now we should have our create feed command. Lovely. Although for some reason it did not generate us a feed type. Is that right? Yeah, I guess where is the user defined here? Oh, maybe it just took a minute for it to recognize the feed type. All right, add a new query to create a feed, then use SQL C to generate the code. Add a new command called add feed. It takes 2 args, name and URL. Okay. Oh, we're supposed to be on break. Let me reset that. Break time. Maybe we can make some coffee now. That'd be good. A little afternoon, little 1:30 caffeine boost. I think that sounds good. Having ourselves a nice Saturday. Hey, what's up, dude? It's my son in the background. No, I'm gonna make a cup of coffee. Oh no! It ran out of coffee.
Happy Saturday plus their time stream. But I don't speed. I do speed. I'm so speed. I'm on calls for a doctor while eating spicy wings.
Kind of feel like I should update the Pomodoro timer so that it's stops when it flips between work and break, or at least have an option for that. Nice coffee making setup. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I moved a little coffee setup down here during advent of code last year, and I've just left it. It's been months since I touched this repo. I'm planning to discard this with new hexagonal arc and work on code quality, just a side project. Awesome, dude. It's great to have side projects like that. It's great to have side projects that you can tinker with to explore different architectures, different ways of doing things. Yeah, that's great. Or I guess you could be like the Vibe coders and just ask a LLM to do everything for you. I don't know, it's very weird to be in a position where you're doing activities that a large amount of the population thinks are useless, but I'm sure that's how people feel about folks who still do woodworking and stuff, you know, as a hobby or even for a living. All right, coffee. All right. We need to add what? We need to add an add feed command. Oh, I bet my son's YouTube video's coming. Okay, add command function. So we need if the length of s arguments if the length of s dot arguments, oh, I'm missing a arguments equals what? If it just equals 1, then we have a problem. Return formatted error f. Well, if it's less than 1, right? Did not receive expected feed name and URL. Okay, and then I think we should still do this too here, right? So let's do uncomment this, and let's say feed name. We expect that to be an s arguments 0, and we expect feed URL is less than 1's not right there, right? It should be less than 2. And this is going to be the second element, or the first element, the 0th element and the first element. Then what we'll do is we'll make sure that feed URL is something. I guess we should probably also make sure feed name isn't just an empty string, right? There's actually a bunch of bugs that actually would probably exist because we have not been doing that. Right? Like we should check username is not just an empty string. We need to go back and add that stuff. So this is URL parse. Now, why are you upset? Declare not used. Undefined. Oh. Okay. So let's add a check here that says if feed name strings trim space. So if I trim the space, do I end up with an empty string? Let's go check for empty string. I'm guessing it's strings trim space and then compare it to an empty string, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So trim space. Trim space. This would be feed name. If that equals this, return format error f feed name cannot be empty. Feed URL is not a valid URL. Now what? Now we have to put that in our database. No, first we have to go get the coffee. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. So now we want to add this to our database. So we should say, oh, we need the user too. Current user equals s dot database dot get user. Dude, fuck that. I'm gonna add a method called s dot get current user. That takes context background. So let's go to state and we'll do function s pointer to state get current user, and we will accept context dot context like that, and we will say user for error. Oh, and this needs to be database dot user. So this way we can just do, because we have access to the config and we have access to the database on this state, so we don't need to pass those things around. We can just say, well, I guess we can literally say s.database.get user context s.config current username. We can literally do that. So it's literally just a kind of a proxy, but that's a little bit more ergonomic of a call. So we can say if current user, or we should say if error does not equal nil, return format dot errorf currently logged in user does not exist, cannot add feed for non-existent user. I don't know why that would ever happen, you know, but it's possible, right? It's possible. So now we'll say create feed params. Oops. Create feed params equals database. Great. Create. You are going to be ID, which is going to be equal to uuid dot new. Let's go ahead and set the user ID too. So this will be equal to current user dot ID. We'll set the name, which is feed name. We'll set the URL, which is actually going to be valid URL, and I'm going to rename it validated feed URL. It's a little bit more descriptive, and we need to actually get the string. Then we're going to do created at, which is time.now, and updated at, which is time.now. And then we'll make a call. So we'll say created feed error, and we'll say s.database.create our feed, and we'll pass in our context background and our create feed params. And then we'll check to see if error does not equal nil. We will return, we'll just say, I'll just return the error directly. Otherwise, I think it wants us to, if everything goes well, print out the fields of the new field record. So we'll say format.println or printf, and we'll say successfully added feed %s with %s. Give it a new line. Then we'll say created feed dot name and created feed dot URL. That's fun. And then I guess we'll also print out the information we didn't print in that message, and we'll say, give it 2 spaces. We'll say ID is this, and then created at is that, and updated that. Yeah. Give it some new lines. %s, new line. %s, new line. %s, new line. And we'll just make it lined well. Say s dot created feed dot id, created feed dot created at, created feed updated at. Oh, and we should probably print out the user ID too. User ID. I think that's all of them. All right, it's late here. Good night. Good day to you. See you later. See ya, Vinay. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a great sleep, and hope you have a wonderful tomorrow. Okay, I think that works. So let's try it. So we'll do go run dot add feed. Let's log in. Go run dot log in as Steven. Okay, he doesn't exist. So go dot register Steven. Okay. Then we'll say go run dot add feed. We'll call it blog, and we'll give it my blog. So we'll say https blog.stevenfreeborn.com/RSS. It says error running add feed command. No add feed registered. That would be correct, because there is not an add feed command. This actually would be a true statement. So let's try again. Did I not write it out? Error running add feed. No add feed command registered. Okay, what did I give the name of this thing? Called it add command. Well, that will do it. There we go. Successfully added feed blog with URL. Cool. Okay, let's run our checks and see if we pass. Success. Now we need a way to inspect all the feeds in the database. Add a new feeds handler. It takes no command line arguments and prints all the feeds in the database to the console. Be sure to include the name of the URL, or the name of the feed, the URL of the feed, and the name of the user that created the feed. You might need a new SQL query. Yeah, we will need a new SQL query. See, this is the one problem that you end up with, right? That like if you work in C#, right, we have the specification pattern, which means we can just have a get user, we can just have a single get user call, right? And we can just pass the particular query you want instead of having to add a new method every time we want to query the database in a different way, which is what we have to do here because we have a get user method, but that does it by name. And really we want to get user by ID. So we have to have a get user by ID, get user by name. I kind of wonder if this has a solution in Go. Right? So let's do some research. Does Go, let's see, we're using Goose. And we are using SQL C. Does SQL C have parameterized query? Query features. This might be a good question for Gemini. Also, why is that not in dark mode by default? That should be in dark mode by default, man. I'm working with Goose and SQL C in my Go project to generate strongly typed Go code for my interactions with my database. I don't want my database. However, I notice every time I want to query for something, I'm having to define a separate query, even though I just want to match against a different property. Like say getting by ID versus name. In C#, we solve this with something like the specification pattern. Is there a similar way to achieve this using the technologies I'm using? SQL takes the opposite approach. It favors compile time safety over runtime query composition. Option 1, optional parameters. Well, nope, I don't want that. The Go repository pattern. Nope, don't want that. Huh. So there isn't really a way to achieve the same thing. Okay, well. So be it. We will write the SQL. So let's go to users. Let's actually call this get user by name. Oh, whoops. That's not the right place. So this is going to be users. So we will do get user by name. We're going to copy that. This is going to be get user by ID. Where ID. So then we're going to come over to here. And we're going to use SQL C generate. Now, is that I'm curious, does that automatically refactor my code that calls that? Get user by name. It doesn't look like it did. There's user, get user by name, get user by ID. Okay, maybe it did. Get user by. Yep, it did. So it actually, so even though I changed the SQL code that was generated, SQL C noticed that. That's a nice feature. So SQL C actually noticed that, hey, you renamed get user to get user by name, and not only did it generate the new method with the correct name, but it also updated all the places in my existing code where I was using get user instead of get user by name. So that's nice. Okay, maybe it didn't. Get user by... Oh, it did not. It only updated it in the database files. Oh, okay. So, well, that kind of sucks. But I'm guessing that would be kind of hard to do in a large code base. Fair enough. That's fine. We can get user by name, and then we really should also have an index on the name since we do so many lookups against it. All right. What are we doing now? Command. Function. Feeds. Command. Returns a command. Pointer to a command. Let's do return new command. This is going to be feeds. Function. Return nil. Time to drink some coffee. So I guess Citadel bought this hedge fund that crashed. Ken Griffin's Citadel has helped calm investor concerns over a sharp sell-off in global semiconductor stocks, which erased roughly $3 trillion in value given its decision to buy a significant portion of hedge funds' situational awareness. So this guy's a former OpenAI researcher. Gotta log into my New York Times account. Hold on. Wonder why he left OpenAI. Huh. Crazy. So how much was his fund worth? According to the Financial Times, Citadel Securities bought the equities at a 10% discount. Huh. Wonder how much it was off. His wedding guests were arriving just as his $45 billion fund was falling apart. So it was worth almost $45 billion, and I guess now it's a fraction of that? That's crazy, dude. I bet he wishes he had taken some of those chips off the table, huh? That's crazy money. Crazy money. $45 billion. Holy crap. Oh, we also need to get all the feeds. We need a way to inspect all the feeds in the database. So we actually want to do this. Feeds. Get all feeds. ID, created that, updated that, name, URL, user, ID. Was there any other? Don't think so. ID, created that, updated that, name, URL, user ID. So 6, there should be 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that looks right. Get all feeds. So SQL C generate. Column URL does not exist. Oh, I did it again. This is why you don't copy and paste. Feeds. Okay. So now we go to command and we say, hey, we want all the feeds, bro. Give us the feeds. Feeds air equals s.database.get all feeds. Where's my... Oh, there we go. Just took a minute, I think, for it to... I think I had to open up that other file for the LSP to recognize it was there. So if error does not equal nil, just return it. Otherwise, we're going to print. So let's do this. Let's do for feed, range over feeds. And inside here, we're going to need to look up the name of the user, right? So we'll have to say feeds user. It's going to be s.database.get user by ID. Then we will say format.printf. And let's just print this in the same way we're printing the user. So we'll say %s. And then I'm going to put the URL in a bracket, and I'm going to say %s, and then I'm going to put the name in a parens. So we can say feed.name, feed.url, and then feeds user.name. this should be context background. I'm gonna ignore that error. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that error. Actually, hold on. No, I'm not gonna ignore the error. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do feeds user name, and I'm gonna default it to just be unknown. This should never happen. If this happens, it's a weird, something very weird has gone on. And then I'm gonna say if error does not equal nil, or does equal nil, meaning there wasn't no error. If there was no error, then we will actually set feeds username to user.name. Then we'll use that. There we go. Go run.feeds. And then if I do go register, or sorry, go run.register me, and I do go run dot add feed, and then go run feeds, should see two now. They are not printed correctly because I don't have a new line. Me and the stupid new line. I really need to. I really need to publish a Go NuGet package that I just add to every single project I ever do in Go. That is a format print line F, because I always forget the new line. They really need to add that to Go. How about that? Just a print line F function. There we go. So now let's run our checks. Fantastic. I think my potion ran out too. Okay, feeds currently have a creator, but there's no way for other users to follow feeds created by other users. And because we're making feeds unique by URL, they can't even add a feed that another user has already added. We need to introduce a many-to-many relationship between users and feeds. Many users can follow the same feed, and a user can follow many feeds. We'll use a joining table called feed follows to accomplish this. Creating a feed follow record indicates that a user is now following a feed. Deleting it is the same as unfollowing a feed. I don't know if I have it in me to do another lesson. Have I really been live for 3 hours? Wow, that went by fast. Let's do some committing here. So what did we add today? We added a register command, reset command, users command. We added a lot. So let's do, so register, feature, implemented, mini commands. Let's see, added a register command, added reset command, users command added ag command. Productive day, huh? If I do say so myself. A enter or alt enter. Oh, that's an interesting. I didn't even know that shortcut existed. That makes it goes full screen. Nice. Control S. There we go. Cool. I have a 39-day streak right now going on in boot.dev. 39-day streak. How about that? Arvin, joke's on you. I've been lurking. You're always welcome to lurk. People are always welcome to lurk. I kind of want my ZSH prompt to put the thing on a new line. Might alter that. After an age, finally got a proper internet connection to watch you live. Nice, dude. Well, I'm glad your internet has improved. I'm sure that makes a lot of things better. Can't really go wrong with upgrading your internet. Can't really go wrong at all. I'm at level 81. All right. Well, I think I'm done for the day. Probably not done coding, but I'm done streaming for the day. I am going to get off here and go eat something. Maybe do a little yard work. My plan is to stream tomorrow morning like normal, unless I decide to do differently. Arvin, it's been approximately 40 minutes. I've been live without hiccup. Been playing Resident Evil. Listen to you talking about users in SQL C. Nice. Well, thanks for hanging out, man. You're welcome to hang out anytime. I think programming and coding streams make for nice kind of co-working, or in your case, co-gaming. That's what I mean. I hang out in Bash Bunny streams quite a bit like that. I hang out in Janet Carr's stream like that. Zed Shaw. There's several people online that I just put their stream on as kind of my second monitor content, and I don't mind being second monitor content. So, all right, I'm out of here. Arvin, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye. Janet, Man of Culture. Yeah, Janet. Yeah, Janet A. Carr is she's a pretty fun streamer to listen to. Bye. See ya.